Imagine this. You're standing at home in front of a trash can for your fourth or even your fifth time today. This time with your empty Starbucks cup in one hand and your Chick-fil-A bag in the other, pondering whether or not to throw it into the trash can or into the recycling bin. You're looking at the signs on the different bins for clues as to which bin to throw your plastic cup and paper bag into. But after 30 more excruciating seconds, you give up and throw them into the big green bin labeled garbage. I was in this very situation the other day, and it made me think, I cannot be the only person caught in this confusing situation. After standing in front of the two bins for another minute, debating which bin to throw my trash into, I pulled out my computer and began my lengthy research on recycling. I was embarrassed at my lack of knowledge and was never again going to throw something into the trash bin because I was uneducated on what items could be recycled. According to recent statistics from the National Institute of Health, 94% of resources used by Americans are non-renewable. This includes coal, petroleum, natural gas, earth minerals and metal ores, and groundwater. And the worst part about all of this is that the majority of the waste created from these resources ends up in 100-acre mega landfills. In Virginia, the 7 megafills can take up to 6,000 tons of waste per day. Because these materials aren't being recycled, they're going to sit in 140 million cubic yard piles that can reach heights of up to 550 feet and eventually run out. As stated in an environmental health perspective peer-reviewed article, in the United States alone, 208,000 tons of waste was dumped into landfills in 1994. This is the same amount of weight as 208,000 adult male polar bears. With that being said, it's no wonder that landfills are often referred to as trash mountains. These huge landfills cause harmful greenhouse gases to be released, polluting the air and causing global warming effects. Global warming is the cause behind melting ice caps and glaciers, lakes around the world are rising in temperatures, and animals are even changing migration patterns. Reducing the waste that is sent to landfills every year will help fight against these ever-present and increasing global warming effects. Landfills are also breeding grounds for things such as bacteria, diseases, birds, insects, and other pests. Not to mention the repulsive odor and increase in truck traffic in nearby communities from trucks carrying waste to deposit in the landfills. The dumping of waste and depletion of resources needs to change, and there are ways for every single person to become involved. In order to get the best results and save the environment, everyone needs to make a change in their daily lives, and here's how. First, as discussed in the Journal of Environmental Management, start by changing small things every day, whether that's from drinking from a reusable water bottle, reading about your community's recycling programs, or encouraging a family member or friend to start recycling. One of my personal examples of trying to reduce the amount of waste that I produce is I ordered a package of reusable metal straws before I went on a trip to Chicago a little over a year ago. I was able to save somewhere between 15 to 20 plastic straws by carrying one around in my purse. This just goes to show that even the smallest actions make a difference, and they only take a couple extra minutes out of your day. After starting with changing small habits in your life and becoming comfortable with your newfound love for saving the environment, start participating in bigger programs. Some examples from the article, Decisions, Cleaning Up America's Recycling Confusion, include adding a recycling bin next to your trash can, foregoing your usual plastic grocery bag to use a reusable one that you brought from home, encouraging your office to partake in recycling movements, and educating your neighbors on the positive effects of recycling, and even partition to get a community recycling bin. Having your recycling bin next to your trash can will help to make you conscious of everything you are throwing away, and it will help make you think twice before throwing a recyclable item into the trash bin. And you don't have to start big and recycle everything you use. It can just be your local newspaper, for example, at first, and then slowly progress to bigger and better things like cardboard boxes, glass jars, and canned food containers. Another example of an easy way to get involved is to take your old clothes and other household items to your local donation center. This helps to prohibit people from buying clothes or furniture that has just been manufactured instead of buying slightly worn items and reducing the amount of energy to make products. After becoming comfortable with all the ways you can help reduce energy consumption and the use of non-renewable resources, you can use your amazing example of recycling to encourage your friends, family, and neighbors to follow your example. Anything you can do to get large groups of people involved, the better. The more, the merrier. The worst that could happen is that you put the wrong material into the wrong bin, or someone doesn't share your green thumb. But other than that, there is no real harm that could come from the situation. Now imagine how good you would feel knowing you're actively doing something good for yourself and for the environment. First of all, recycling reduces the amount of energy needed to make something from raw materials. That aluminum soda can you finished at lunch today takes 95% less energy to reuse when using recycled materials instead of raw materials. Not to mention that soda cans are classified as industrial waste, which is the primary source of pollution on our planet today. By recycling, you are also reducing your carbon footprint and slowing the amount of greenhouse gases being released into the atmosphere, according to the Journal of Environmental Education. This is because burning piles of waste leads to toxic emissions, which increase the speed at which the planet heats up. The Environmental Protection Agency cites municipal solid waste landfills as the nation's second largest human-generated source of methane emissions. Methane is considered harmful because it is a greenhouse gas, meaning that if it leaks into the atmosphere for being used, it will absorb the sun's heat, warming the atmosphere. Recycling also slows the rate of resource depletion. So sooner or later, the earth is going to run out of resources. But by recycling, the need to mine and use those natural resources is reduced. If people decide to not recycle paper, 80% more wood would need to be harvested to make up for the amount lost. That could be a whole forest of trees cut down, and we could have prevented it. Lastly, as addressed in environmental and financial impact of a hospital recycling program, the addition of recycling plants to the United States has created 1.1 million jobs and has brought in $236 billion in annual sales and $37 billion in annual payroll. The only real disadvantage to recycling is the extra couple minutes you would need to take out of your day to take the recyclables to a recycling station and time needed to educate yourself on recycling policies. Furthermore, all of these advantages of recycling aren't going to happen on their own. We have to put them in action. According to polls done in 2019, only 35% of the U.S. population recycles. This means that 65% of the population is still sending all of their waste to growing landfills. These landfills are harming the environment and causing manufacturers to harvest raw materials instead of conserving resources and energy. However, you can make a difference. Add an extra bin specifically for recyclables. Start separating your recyclables from your trash. Invest in a reusable water bottle. The possibilities are endless, and you'll feel so good knowing that you did something beneficial for the environment. All it takes is you can start a neighborhood recycling carpool and offer to take your neighbor's recyclables with you on your trip, or even bring your neighbor with you and their recyclables to the station. You can even offer for people to use your recycling bin. All it takes is for one person to start a movement, and why not use this power for something that not only benefits you, but future generations to come?